Is there something lurking in the vast, icy peaks of the Himalayas? For centuries, tales have been whispered of a mysterious, ape-like creature roaming the world's highest mountains. Today, we're venturing into the heart of this legend to uncover the truth behind the Yeti, the creature famously known in the West as the Abominable Snowman. The story of the Yeti is deeply woven into the rich tapestry of Sherpa folklore. For the people who live in the shadow of Mount Everest, the Yeti, or Meh-Teh, as it's sometimes called, is a very real part of their world. It's often depicted not just as a monster, but as a wild creature of the mountains, a symbol of nature's untamed power. These stories, passed down through generations, describe a bipedal beast covered in thick hair with immense strength. But are these just campfire tales, or is there something more to it? The legend burst into Western consciousness in the early 20th century. Mountaineers scaling the treacherous Himalayan peaks began reporting strange sightings and, most compellingly, enormous footprints in the snow. In 1921, a British explorer named Charles Howard Berry led an expedition on Mount Everest. He found large tracks that his Sherpa guides identified as belonging to the Meh-Teh, which translates to man-bear snowman. A journalist named Henry Newman, not fully understanding the translation, coined the much more sensational term, the Abominable Snowman. The name stuck, and the world became obsessed. One of the most famous pieces of evidence came in 1951. Mountaineer Eric Shipton was exploring the Midland Glacier when he photographed a clear, large footprint next to his ice axe for scale. The print was startlingly clear and unlike any known animal. It showed a broad foot with distinct toes. This photograph became iconic, igniting a firestorm of debate. Was this definitive proof? Skeptics were quick to point out that the sun can melt and distort footprints, making them appear larger and more human-like than they originally were. Still, for believers, the Shipton photo remains a cornerstone of Yeti evidence. The hunt for the Yeti intensified. Expeditions were launched with the specific goal of finding this elusive creature. In 1954, the Daily Mail newspaper sponsored the Snowman expedition. They collected hair samples and plaster casts of footprints. The hair was later analyzed and found to match known animals like the Serow and the blue bear. This became a recurring theme in the Yeti investigation. Evidence emerges, only to be later debunked or attributed to known fauna. Perhaps the most ambitious search was conducted by Sir Edmund Hillary, the first man to summit Everest. In 1960, he led a World Book Encyclopedia-sponsored expedition to collect and evaluate evidence for the Yeti. Hillary was initially open-minded but became a firm skeptic. He concluded that every piece of evidence could be explained. The footprints, likely from bears or other animals, distorted by the snow. The sightings, often at a distance, easily misidentifying a bear or even a wandering ascetic. Hillary also investigated the famous Yeti scalps, held in several remote monasteries. These cone-shaped artifacts were revered as sacred relics. However, when a scalp was smuggled out for scientific analysis, it was revealed to be made from the skin of a Serow, a goat-like antelope native to the region. Hillary's conclusion was a major blow to the Yeti believers, but it far from ended the debate. Throughout the decades, more supposed evidence has surfaced. There have been grainy videos, more photos, and countless eyewitness accounts. One notable video, known as the torn footage from the 1990s, claimed to show a dark, bipedal figure moving across a snowy landscape. Like many others, it was heavily scrutinized and ultimately dismissed by many as either a hoax or a misidentification. The problem with much of this evidence is its ambiguity. A blurry shape in the distance could be anything, and in the harsh, disorienting environment of the high Himalayas, the mind can play tricks. So, if it's not a giant ape man, what are people seeing? Science offers a compelling explanation. Bears. The Himalayas are home to several bear species, including the Himalayan brown bear and the Tibetan blue bear. These bears are large, shaggy, and have the ability to stand and walk on their hind legs for short distances. When they do, their rear paws can leave tracks that look remarkably like a giant human footprint, especially when one paw print overlaps another. In recent years, genetic analysis has provided even stronger support for the bear theory. Several studies have analyzed DNA from samples of hair, bone, and skin claimed to be from Yetis. In almost every case, the DNA has matched that of local bear species. A comprehensive 2017 study analyzed 9 such samples from museums and private collections. 8 of them turned out to be from Asian black bears, Himalayan brown bears, or Tibetan brown bears. The 9th was from a dog. This scientific consensus points strongly towards a case of mistaken identity. It seems the legend of the Yeti is a perfect storm of factors. You have the ancient folklore of the Sherpa people, the misidentification of known animals like bears, and the powerful allure of the unknown. The Himalayas are one of the last truly wild places on Earth. Vast and inhospitable. It's easy to imagine that something ancient and undiscovered could still be hiding there. Yeti is also part of a global phenomenon of wild man legends. Almost every culture has a similar story. In North America, we have Bigfoot or Sasquatch. In Australia, the Yowie. In Russia, the Almas. These creatures share strikingly similar descriptions. Tall, hairy, ape-like, and incredibly elusive. This suggests a deep-seated human fascination with the idea of a wild, undiscovered relative. A link to our own primal past. It taps into our desire for mystery and the idea that the world is not yet fully mapped and understood. So, is the Yeti real? Based on the scientific evidence we have today, the answer is almost certainly no. There is no credible, verifiable proof of an unknown primate living in the Himalayas. The footprints, the sightings, and the physical samples all point towards known animals, primarily bears, being misinterpreted. But the legend itself is very real. It's a powerful story that has captured our collective imagination for a century. It's a tale of adventure, mystery, and the enduring power of nature. Even if there isn't a literal abominable snowman out there, the search for it has taught us a great deal about the Himalayas, about the animals that live there, and about our own human need to believe in the extraordinary. The myth of the Yeti endures, not because of evidence, but because it represents the wild, untamed spirit of the world's greatest mountains. What do you think? Have you ever heard a story or seen something you couldn't explain? Let me know in the comments below. The world is full of mysteries, and while we may have solved this one, there are always more to explore. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this journey into the heart of a legend, be sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more deep dives into the world's greatest mysteries. See you next time.